Factoring by grouping, let's look at number 1. So number 1, the common mistake I saw is that students did not factor out a large enough numerical value. So I'm going to start with the smaller of the two front numbers. This is in standard form, is 32. And then I need to recognize all the numbers that nicely divide into 32. So like I know 1 divides in, so 1 and 32 go in. Divide by 2, divide by 2, so 2 and 16. When I divide by 3, I don't get a pretty number, but when I divide by 4, I get 8. And then I'll try the middle numbers, which is 5, 6, and 7. Each time we can see we end up with a decimal type answer. So these are the numbers I need to try, and I always need to start with the largest of the two. So I'm given 48. Let's take 48 divided by 32. Oh, so sorry, 48 divided by 32. It does not work. 48 divided by 16. And that's when we want to divide out. So I want to divide out a value of 3. So first let's start by factoring a 3 and then recognizing I can take a maximum of 2 x's out. 3 times what is 48? If you don't know, you divide to get 16. I need 3 x's, so I need to attach 1 more. And then 3, I meant to put a 16 here. Why did I put a 3? Why did I put a 3? 16 is the number I want to factor out. My mistake. Factoring of 16, x squared, gives us 3x, and then 16 times 2 is 32, and there's my 2 x's. Okay, 16 times 3, 48 with 3 x's. 16 times 2 is 32 with 2 x's. I'm going to copy and paste this in back and put a really light question mark here. What times 3x gives us a positive 3x? Don't just put a 1, put a positive 1. If this works, it needs to work for both numbers. So 3x times positive 1 is positive 3x, and positive 2 times positive 1 is a positive 2. Now, we have a front half and a back half. They both have what's in common is the parenthesis. I'm going to write it down one time. In front of the first parentheses is 16x squared, and from the back is a positive 1. This is our answer. I do want you to recognize that writing 16x squared plus 1 times the quantity 3x plus 2, these are identical answers. So the order the parentheses goes in does not matter. Let's look at number 2. Okay, so looking at number 2, and I'm looking at the first two terms, it looks like the most I can pull out would be an x squared. So x squared times x gives me x cubed, and x squared times 2y gives me 2x squared y. Okay, whatever's in parentheses comes back over here. What times x gives us a negative 5xy? It'd be negative 5y. Let me make sure. Negative 5xy. Okay? Negative 5 times 2 is negative 10 with a y squared. Front half and back half, they both have the parentheses in common, so I write it down one time. In the front is an x squared, and the back is a negative 5y, and you're done.